Now, I know nobody really likes to be a part of the bootlicking mafia when it comes to owners and supporting the owners. Sometimes you may know all about the owner. Sometimes you may not even know your owner exists and who it even is because they rarely make an appearance or say a thing when it comes to your favorite team. But sometimes most of the owners that are well known in sports are the ones that typically don't do a very good job or are just very controversial in the media. Today we have a ownership sale on the hands of the Baltimore Orioles. Talk about that ownership sale a little bit, as well as 3 owners that I think should sell their teams in the near future. As always, drop a comment down below on owners that you think should sell their teams. All that being said, the Baltimore Orioles have been sold by the Angelos family. Peter Angelos was the official owner, and he passed it over to his son in 2020, John Angelos. It was announced today that he is selling the team $1.7 billion. At least that's what they're valuing it at. The Baltimore Orioles are getting sold to a private equity team that go by the name of David Rubenstein and Mike Alberghetti. So those two are going to be co-inheriting the team and owning the team. Now, I think David Rubenstein is going to be the main owner of the ball club. He is a Baltimore native, must be an Orioles fan and all that, and he is now going to buy his hometown team. The Angelos family was pretty controversial amongst fans last year in the season. John Angelos came out and said, you know what, basically, we may not be able to play all of our young players that are in our system coming up, becoming Major League All-Stars. We may not be able to pay them because of financials. And fans do not like that, obviously. As an owner, I know better than to say that. It can't be the Dodgers every single year. You shouldn't sell your fans on, hey, we're not going to be able to pay these guys, even though they literally just came up a year or 2 ago. Be prepared that rookie contracts are up, they're going to go. Like, that's just not the way to go about business, especially when it comes to selling tickets and merchandise and all that. So that was a horrible move by John Angelos, and the Orioles fans had enough. I believe Camden Yards is also staying and going to be preserved for another 15 to 20 years, something like that, 30 years. So Camden Yards is going to be remained in the game of baseball. I think they're going to get renovation on that pretty soon. Good for the Orioles, and we'll see where it takes them in the near future. I'm going to get into 3 owners who I believe should sell their teams. We're starting off with John Fisher of the Oakland A's. Now, listen, I've been an advocate for the A's to get to Las Vegas. I'm just going to be honest and say that. And I know it's the unpopular opinion for the A's to go to Vegas. And I know I'm taking kind of a high road here because not many people are on this high road that I think they should move. That being said, John Fisher, that whole A's franchise, as you can see here on the screen, I'm going to put their playoff appearances. John Fisher took over the Oakland A's in 2005, and you know what? They've made the playoffs numerous times. They have made the playoffs numerous times here under John Fisher in just about 15, 20 years. And ultimately, though, they've never really gone all that far in the postseason. They've had good teams, and they just never have really gotten over the hump. Not getting over the hump becomes rebuilds and retools and shipping out players and all-stars that fans like, instead of keeping their core together and trying to build up a winner. A's fans show up. They've always been bottom 10 in attendance. And it's a really tricky situation there with the Oakland A's and John Fisher. See, A's fans want John Fisher to sell the team, so the Oakland Athletic could stay in Oakland. Obviously, that's what they want. Like I said, I'm still on the A's should go to Vegas train. Whether John Fisher's at the helm, whether I'm at the helm, or some other billionaires at the helm, I think the A's should still move to Vegas. With that being said, John Fisher, yeah, even going to Vegas amongst all this, is still having a hard time moving the team to Vegas because I don't think he knows what he's doing. So John Fisher should sell his team. Another guy who should sell his team and was oh so close to selling his team is Artie Moreno. And Artie Moreno was literally about to list the Angels for sale, or I think he did, and then he just took it right back. I had never seen that before, to be quite honest with you. I have never seen a guy say, I'm selling the team, and then 5 days later says, oh, no, I'm not selling the team. Actually, I'm going to keep the team. I've never seen that. So that was quite interesting when that did happen, I think a year or 2 ago. And Artie Moreno still remains owner of the Angels. And Artie Moreno is really eating crow here as Ohtani, his cash cow, has switched sides across town and is now a Dodger. So I know he is just having nightmares about that at night when he goes to sleep. But with all that being said, Artie Moreno needs to sell the team. I mean, the guy's losing fans as I speak by the day. There's going to be a ton of new Dodger fans you never heard of. They're going to become Dodger fans now because of this. Artie Moreno really needs to sell that team, get his money, get his ultimate peak value now while he can. Artie Moreno, the Angels haven't made the postseason in 10 years. It's time for Artie Moreno to step down and sell the team. Last guy on this list here, I had a really struggle bus with picking a guy for the third spot here. Landed on Jerry Reinsdorf here of the Chicago White Sox because I think he is one of, if not the oldest owner of the teams I was considering. Jerry Reinsdorf has owned the Chicago White Sox since 1981. That's 40 years ago. He bought this team and has owned them ever since. He bought it for $20 million in 1981. Amidst all that, he's had a few playoff runs, and the White Sox have been pretty horrible throughout their existence. And most of the playoff runs have come off of Jerry Reinsdorf at the helm, including World Series. But with all that being said, though, he really does need to go. The White Sox at this point, they just suck. I mean, I'm just keeping it simple. They just suck, and they need a change of scenery. They need a new voice, leadership, a new direction. The White Sox should really benefit for that. I know they're talking about getting a new ballpark, which is fantastic because U.S. Cellular Field, or whatever it's called now, it's pretty cookie cutter. It's a pretty cookie cutter stadium. The White Sox getting a brand new ballpark would greatly benefit that team. The White Sox should stay in Chicago, even though they are second fiddle to the Cubs. White Sox staying in Chicago is good for baseball. Definitely, they've been there forever. Jerry Reinsdorf, he's owned the team forever. He also owns the Chicago Bulls, two teams that are just kind of stuck in the past and stuck in mediocrity. Jerry Reinsdorf, I'm here to tell you, it is not the 20th century no more. It is the 21st century. You need to sell that team. Those are my three candidates that I believe should sell their team. I'm looking at the Pirates. I'm looking at the Rockies. Good teams don't last forever, but money does.